Hello everyone, I'm Ari and welcome back to my bookish universe. Today I'm going to do some fall book recommendations, so stay put if you want to hear, I guess. First recommendation is quite popular, so I guess most people have heard of it, but if you haven't, the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series by Holly Jackson. It starts with a good girl's guide to murders, to murder. Then Good Girl Bad Blood, As Good as Dead. And then you have the prequel Killjoy. These books are really awesome, really amazing. If you don't know the premise, we follow Pip, who is doing a school assignment on a murder that happened in a town, Little Kilton, I believe, 5 years ago, where Andy was killed, and it was presumed that her boyfriend at the time, Sal Singh, did it, and he actually committed suicide a few days later, which even strengthened the suspicion against him. But Pip, she doesn't believe this, so she sets out to kind of investigate the murder for a school paper, and along with her she have Sal's little brother Ravi, and they make a really good team. But the mystery is really good in this story, and it's a continuing. So we, in the books after the first one, we continue to see how Pip evolves and deal with the consequences of the first book and everything that happens there. And it's really, really good, and I highly recommend it. And it's really coolly written because it's multimedia. So we get text, we get emails, we get lists, we get her reports on her paper and pictures and everything. So it's really, really awesome format as well. And yeah, just a really good book. And then I feel like you kind of have to recommend this author in the autumn because she's the queen of mysteries. So I'm going to recommend Christies Elephants Can Remember. I haven't read a lot of Christie's books. I actually only read 2, and this was my favorite by far. But in this book we meet Miss Oliver. It's a Poirot story, by the way. And she's at this author gathering when this really annoying woman comes up to her and starts to question her about her goddaughter, because this goddaughter is dating her son, and she really doesn't want this goddaughter in her family, it seems like, because 15 years prior the parents of the goddaughter were found dead. They were found in down a cliff with gunshots, both of them. So the question is, did the mother shoot the father? Did the father shoot the mother? Did they kill themselves? Was it a murder? What happened? And this is what Miss Oliver and Poirot is trying to find out. It's I thought it was really good. I don't think it has as much praise as her other books, but again, I've only read 2, so I think it was okay, and it was a really quick read, so yeah. And then I have one of my more favorite thriller authors, which is Ruth Ware. And I think everyone can agree that The Turn of the Key is a really good setting for an autumn book. This wasn't my favorite. However, I know that this stands as one of her best books by many. But in this we follow Rowan, who applies to work as a nanny for a really wealthy couple in Scotland, I believe. And they have a smart house, which sets the setting because this house is really creepy and it happens really creepy stuff there. And one of the daughters that she's supposed to watch can't stand her. And it happens really mysterious things, and you almost get the feeling that the house is haunted, but then you don't really know. Yeah, and it has a really good opening scene because we opens with Rowan writing letters to her lawyer saying that I didn't kill the girl. It wasn't me. You have to help me. So immediately you know that one of the girls are dead. So throughout your story you try to find out who actually could commit this murder and which of the girls are dead. Who are the 3 children she was watching died. So yeah, it's a really good setting for an autumnal book, I think. And then you have one of the ones I liked a bit more, In a Dark Woods, also by Ruth West. And in this we follow Nora, who is invited to her prior best friend's bachelor party in a wood, in a really secluded wood, in a cabin. And there's no cell phone. You can't call anyone. And yeah, it's a lot of drinking, drugs, mildly drugs, but secrets kind of start to reveal, and Nora is wondering, why was I invited? I wasn't invited to the wedding. I don't know who the groom is. What is this? Why am I here? And then something awful happens, and they can't reach anyone because they're secluded. And then suddenly we're at the hospital, and even more secrets reveal. And yeah, I think this is one of the ones I like more. But I think their setting is really autumnal, which is why I wanted to recommend it. Not because it is an amazing book, even though it's okay, but Ruth Ware writes really engaging, I think. She kind of drags you into the story, and even though the mystery perhaps wasn't the greatest, I enjoyed myself while I read it. So, and then I also feel like this is really popular, or it is really popular, I know, because I read it because of the hype, but it's really good as well. So if you haven't read The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, I would highly recommend it. We follow a psychotherapist named Theo, who really wants to work at the Groove, which is a mental institution. And here he wants to work with a patient called Alicia. Alicia is known for shooting her husband 5 years ago. She was a really devoted wife. She really loved him. But then suddenly she shoots him 5 times in the head, I believe. Or the chest, yeah. And then she never says a word again. And Theo really thinks that he could be the one to make it talk again. So we kind of explore this relationship and what really happened 5 years ago, and Theo with his love life and everything. But it's a really good psychological thriller, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think it's setting for an autumnal because it's creepy and mysterious. So yeah. And then I have a book that I didn't really love. I thought it was okay, but I've never heard anyone else talk about it, so I thought I'd just recommend it, and that is The Kingdom by Jo Nesbø. Nesbø is one of the more well-known Norwegian authors outside of Norway. He has written the Harry Hole series, which is now 17 books, I think, or something. But this is a standalone, and we follow Roy and Carl, who is brothers, and Roy lives in this really typical Norwegian town. He lives up a really meandering hill on the top of there and doesn't really have water and electricity and stuff, if I can remember correct. But he lives there alone and is fine with it. He runs a gas station and is really happy with that. But then his brother Carl's returned from the States, I believe. And there he returns with a really amazing business idea, because he wants to build a hotel and get more tourists to the town to rise their economy. But he is also bringing along his new wife, which Roy's never met or heard about. But Carl returning to this town kind of starts to zero problems, because then the local police officer starts to investigate a murder, the murder of Roy and Carl's parents, and what really happened when they were young, and did they do anything. And Carl also has this reputation along with him about some things that happened when he was young, and Roy always defended him. He was also one of picked up fight to defend his brother, but now, as his brother is returning, is he going to continue to fight for his brother, to protect his brother, or does he have to meet his demons? Yeah. And then you have the town people not wanting to build a hotel and everything, so yeah. But the town setting and the kind of just cool weather from Norway, and I think it's actually set partly in autumn. It spans over a long period of time, so that's why I thought about it. And now I have some fantasy books. And again, this is quite popular, or at least it was. But I think that Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare is a really good autumnal read because of the London setting. London, the late 1800s, really, really cool setting, steampunk. That's why I love it. I love the setting. I love historical novels, especially historical fantasies, because they're just amazing. But in this book we meet, or series actually, the Infernal Horses, we meet Tessa Gray, who is traveling from New York to London to meet her brother Nate. And after the overseas, she gets kidnapped by these two ladies, Miss Black and Miss Dark, or something. I can't remember correctly. Sorry, but she gets kidnapped and she's forced to change because they said that she's a shapeshifter. And Tessa never knew this. She didn't know. She never tried it. She gets really frustrated that she can't do it, but then she learns to it, and then she gets saved by these shadow hunters, Will and Jem. And then the story just explodes, and she gets dragged into the downworld with vampires, warlocks, werewolves, everything, and she is kind of hunted by this man who wants powers, and there's this amazing love triangle actually, but it's done really good, really well between Will, Jem and Tessa, because they're parabatai, they're best friends, but they both like Tessa, and Tessa doesn't know who she likes the most. Is it the kind of dark and mysterious Will, or is it the kind-hearted and just sugary, sweet gem? Highly recommend it. Entire series. And then we have the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber. And Caraval, I think, is a really good autumnal book because of the setting. It's set in this magical circus, and we follow two sisters, Tella and Scarlet, who gets dragged into this game in this magical circus. So we follow Scarlet, who kind of gets transported to this magical circus by a guy named Julian, which she's never met before. But she finds out that her sister is missing. Her little sister Tella is the prize of the game of this year's Caraval. So Scarlet has to kind of just solve the game, win the game to get her sister back. And along with it, she has Julian, who is this kind of mysterious guy, but also kind of sweet to her. But she's constantly told, don't trust anyone, it's only a game, don't trust anything, everything is a lie. And she kind of struggles with separating the truth from the lie, of course, reality from magic. But the setting is really, really good, and the story is really good. Stephanie Garber has some really amazing, luscious descriptions. They are really beautiful, really colorful, and that also kind of makes up the story. But it's really, really good, and you're constantly questioning what is real and what is not, and this awesome romance of the blossoms between Julian and Scarlet, but then you can't really be sure, is it even real? And then secrets and mysteries and everything, and it's so good, so I highly recommend it. And then I have again another, I want to say it's like the Middle Age, but it's not, but it kind of, but Queen of the Tailing by Erika Johansen. This is a medieval setting, yet it's not, because we follow a country, or we're set in a country that's actually they all escaped from our world, I would say, to a new place where they didn't have any technology. They just kind of wanted to live like before. And we're now set 300 years into the past, but still no technology and living like in the Middle Age. And here we meet Kelsey, who is a princess of one of the 4 lands countries. And she's been in exile her entire life because her mother was killed. I think she was killed. It's been a while since I read it. But we follow her as she's retrieved from her exile and is traveling towards her castle. And it's a really dangerous path because someone is out to kill her. But we don't really know who. And we don't know who to trust. And Kelsey is a really awesome heroine because she is kind of plain, and is told she's kind of plain. She's told she's kind of chubby, but she is really strong, and she doesn't let anyone prick her on the nose or anything. She stands up for herself, and she's this untraditional queen. At least she's going to be a queen if she gets to her kingdom. And then we also get some perspectives from the evil queen in Mortmesne, which is also kind of cool because she's a sorceress, and we learn more about her and her intentions, her methods to keeping herself young and pretty and everything. But it's a really good setting, and I think it's feel autumnal, mostly because of the medievalish feeling of the setting, but I really recommend it. And then I have Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. If you read any of these books, I guess you could guess why I recommend it, because of the really creepy pictures that's in here. Not the best example, but throughout the book it's these creepy pictures of old children, or old pictures of children, that doesn't really have any explanation. But the story follows Jacob, who we meet at the start of the story, who gets attacked, and his grandfather gets killed by these creatures he's never seen before. And everyone says that he's imagining it, it's not real. So he goes to therapy, and then no one believes him. But his grandfather always told him stories about this island where he was living in a children's home with all these kids that was magical. Some were flying, some were everything, just really creepy kids with magical gifts almost. And he was one of the kids himself. So Jacob never really believed in these stories. Neither has his father. But then his therapist suggests that he goes there to kind of just, get over his grandfather's death. And he does, and he explores the island, and then he's dragged back into the past, where he meets all these children that his grandfather told him about, because they're stuck in a time loop. And then as he meets them, several of the teachers, I guess, or the women that runs these children's homes, gets kidnapped, and they don't know who does it. And then they kind of have to escape and try to find all the women and stuff. I explain this really badly, but it's good, and it's creepy pictures, so yeah, I would recommend it. It's actually really, really coolly set up and told. Yeah. But the last recommendation is again a series, and it's the Englefors series by Mats Strandberg och Sara Elfgren. This is original Swedish series, but I know it's been translated into English. So the first book, Cirkeln, it opens on a creepy, or actually it opens with a suicide almost. A guy that is pushed to kill himself. So we open quite brutally. And this series is brutal. It's kind of also horror, psychological, fantasy, a lot. But it's really good. I gave it 5 stars, the entire series, I think. And yeah, I will. We meet 5 girls, I believe, who kind of just wakes up in the middle of the night and is dragged towards this meeting place in the woods. They don't know each other. They all go to the same school, but they're not friends. They don't know each other, but they are all kind of just pulled to this place where they meet their school stranger, who says that they are the chosen one. They are supposed to save the entire world from evil. They don't know how, and it's never been 5 chosen ones. It's always been 1, but they're 5 people, and they have these magical gifts which they didn't know, and they kind of have to explore them. Not all of them have them, so they have to try to retrieve them. but it's really good, and the cast is amazing because it's really diverse. We have something of everything, but they interact so good, and the dialogue is really well, and we get so many perspectives that's just nicely written and thread together, and just really good. And then you have, why is it 5 chosen ones, why isn't it 1? And then this janitor, he doesn't remember anything. You just know that he has to help the chosen one, and the only thing he remembers is memory mortal or something like that, which none of them knows what it means. So they also have to kind of try to puzzle together, who is this guy, why is he here, and then their own gifts, and trying to save the world from evil because someone is killing the chosen ones, and they of course doesn't want to be next, and who is doing this and everything. It's really good, so I highly recommend it. But as said, that was all the books I had to show you. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please leave a comment and give me some autumnal book recommendation, or if you heard of any of these, read any of these, enjoyed any of these. I would really enjoy it, and if you liked the video, please subscribe if you want to see more of me. But that was all for now. Bye.